countertops and granite backsplash is installed. Now we're going to add the backsplash on top of the previous one. So I got this idea from the guy at Home Depot. He mentioned using the Simplemat stuff, and he said you could put it right over the top of the old existing tile as long as you degrease it and clean it, and there's no residue on it. So I bought 10 square feet of it, made sure to read the back, and sure as heck you can. So the next step is I'm going to go ahead and take off all the outlet covers. I made sure I opened the breaker on the electrical panel. I'm going to tape everything off. I'm going to clean all the residue from the old backsplash, and then I'm going to go ahead and lay this out and stick it on, and stick on that stone backsplash and grout. So stay tuned. All right, we got all the countertops prepped and protected, taped off all the edges, degreased the backsplash. I have the power secured and the outlets pulled out. So the next step is we're going to apply the Simplematting. So the first step is you take off the white backing, and you're going to stick it right on the wall. You're going to use your float. You're just going to press it on there. Don't pull that clear cover backing off until you're ready to start applying the tile. So we're going to go ahead and apply all the Simplematting on, and we'll come back when we're ready to apply the tile. Grody, oh Grody. All right, we got that Simplemat all installed on the old backsplash, and now I'm going to start installing the new stone. So the tools I'm going to be using are a speed square, a pencil, don't really need that. I use my float, a pair of angle cutters. I'm going to be using some 1/8 inch spacers, and one tool I've been so happy with this build, I just got it about a week ago, is this Milwaukee M12 cutoff tool. It uses a 3-inch blade, and they have a nice diamond cutting blade, and it just eats right through this tile. So I'm going to go grab my vacuum, hook up my hose. You can use this wet or dry. I don't know, maybe I'll try it out wet as well. But I did use this tool to trim up the bottom of the old backsplash and the sides before they installed the granite. They needed a little bit more clearance, so literally took me 10 minutes to do all these walls with this thing. So super happy with it. Milwaukee did a great job with this tool. Not sponsored by them, but you see me use their tools often. Just a huge fan, and I like them, personal preference. So let me get started on this. All right, guys, so you only want to do sections at a time. So I pulled the first clear plastic backing off of the Simplemat, and I'll do this section, and I'll work from the bottom out to that backsplash. So only take off the section that you're going to actively work. You don't want a bunch of dust flying or anything. So I did the first piece. I used the angle cutters to cut two of the legs off so I can butt that 1/8 inch gap on this side. And then, so all you do is you pull that plastic backing off. Try to do this. There is a back to these, you can tell. So you're gonna need a spacer. I'll turn this once I get it. There. There. I will turn those guys. So I will lightly keep that in place while I get the other spacers in. I'll turn these. All right, so once I get that guy in place, take my float and seat it down on the mat. Be careful not to touch any other piece. So it's going to be as simple as that. So I'm going to go ahead and get going through. When I get to the end, I'm sure I'll need to hack some off, and then I'm going to stagger them. So that will be right in the center gapped as well. So I'll come back to you guys once I get this whole section knocked out. All right, so we got all that back Simplemat put up. We got these natural stone tiles put in place and spaced out. They look really nice. So now I'm going to show you guys how to grout. I went the easy route and I got the Simplegrout ready to use, and we got it in delorean gray. So you're going to need that if you do it this way. A 2-inch putty knife. You're going to need a grout float. I just bought the little cheapo foam one. You're going to need some really nice new sponges and a couple buckets of 5-gallon water. I'm just going to have my wife constantly replace it for me. So first thing you want to do is you want to lightly dampen the back tile. So you don't want this thing soaking wet. Basically, you don't want it dripping out. So we're just going to go ahead, go through it, get them just nice and damp. So I'll be honest, I was a little worried when we put the first tile on. Some of them, when we pulled the spacers out, they kind of drooped like a 1/16 of an inch or maybe an 1/8 of an inch. So we cut some of the spacer pieces, shoved them in behind the grout, and then I put it over to hold them up. So, you know, they shifted a little bit. You know, it was odd to me, but it worked out fine. And after I got the grout in, wasn't too worried about it after that. So, all right, we've got these things nice and wet. So what we're gonna do, open that bad boy back up. I'm gonna use the putty knife to load my float. So if this was a big shower or bathroom where you had a big wall, definitely use this long piece, but it's such a small space up here, I'm primarily going to use one of the sides of it, and then I'll shift to the side when I'm kind of floating it out. Don't worry, power is off. I've tested it. Breaker's open. So you don't want to push this into the lines. You want to go at a 45-degree angle against them. So it's going to look like crap when you put this on, but it'll turn out nice, I promise. So just constantly just press them in at a 45, loading up your float, and keep on going with it. So here I'll go with the wide side, press it all in, and I'll do a couple passes just to make sure it's all in. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up, and I'll come to the next section of the video. Alright, so I pressed all the grout in, and now I'm just going to come get that wide side, kind of go at a 45-degree angle, scrape off that excess. It's starting to dry on me. All right, now here comes that clean, damp sponge. Do nice circular motions. You can see that grout is going to clean right up. After you do a little, foot section, flip it over and start doing little circular motions. Alright, clean your sponge. What's up, bro dog? They're pretty critical. You don't want anything dripping out of there or your dog to drink that nasty water. That tile underneath is going to start to appear. Get that corner, it's kind of tough. Alright, so I kind of want to do this uniformly, so I'm going to go ahead and start coming this way to the end, and then I'll start back. So you want to do this kind of quick. You don't want to oversaturate that grout with water. That's going to be the last use of that water, so we're going to dump it, get some fresh water, and keep on going until this side looks like that. Alright, so I've gone over this about 3 or 4 times, so it's going to be my last time before I move on to this section. But as you can see, it came out really nice. It's kind of worrying the first time you do this at first because you're just putting all this grout over the top of it and you can't even see the tile, but it comes out really nice. So flip it over. And I'm not pushing hard, just very light pressure, circular patterns. Don't go with the lines up or down, left or right. All right. So after this dries for about 4 hours, you're going to go back over it and you're just going to clean each tile without getting the grout lines. So I'm going to go ahead and knock this out, and then the piece behind you where the coffee maker is, and I'll come back. We're going to clean up those tile. I did remove the tape off the granite transitions and grouted and did the same method between all the granite transitions and the stone backsplash. I didn't show it in this video, but as you could tell, it came out just flawless. So thanks for watching, and I hope this helped using Simplemat and Simplegrout.